Hello everyone and welcome to this video tutorial. The objective of this video tutorial is to show you the very basic beginnings on how to start an Illustrator file. But the big thing that this video tutorial and many that are going to go after this is some of the basics on how Adobe Illustrator works, Adobe Photoshop works, and Adobe InDesign works. Now, one of the reasons why we're starting with this one is this is going to be a gateway software that's going to help out with a lot of softwares as well. Now, there's going to be some shortcut keys on the bottom of this particular video, so please take the time to look at those links as they are really good shortcut keys that will make the process a lot faster. Now, the big thing I want to do right now is just show you how to get the whole process started, explain a couple things for those who might need a little review, and also show a couple tips when it comes to the user interface itself. So with all that said, let's begin. So we're taking a look at Adobe Illustrator over here, and we can see just some of the basic files that we could start off with. These tend to be quite popular. Now, if you want to get a little bit more into some detail, if you go to File and New, this will get you to some more presets. Now, the nice thing about this, say for example, we're just going to go to Print. Besides, of course, having some established presets here, you can hit the little plus over here. You'll see some other ones in these cases. You'll also be able to see what kind of measurements this is currently working with, which you can change at any time if you hit the drop down, and also change whatever you need to do in this case. So if we want to change the name, very easy to do. I'm just going to call this Test Demo, just so that we can show this off. We also can change, as I said before, the width and the height, just something to kind of keep in mind if you want to see what that would be in other measurements, say for example pixels or inches. You can switch that at any time and it will do the calculations in terms of, well, basically what the change in variance would be in these. So pretty helpful for us. Now, orientation, you could basically tell the software if you want this to be a little higher or wider. Artboards would basically be how many canvases you want to work with. We'll get into that a little bit later. And that's pretty much the long and short of the main elements that we have here. Now, once we've decided all the measurements, names, and so on, we can hit Create. And we're going to have our interface over here at this time. Now, a couple other things I would strongly recommend you do before going any further is make sure that you are in a user interface that works best for you. Now, the easiest way to approach this is you can go to the Essentials over here, and you'll see a lot of presets available. So to kind of put this in perspective, you'll see ones for Essentials, ones for typography, for those who might want to get into a little bit more graphic design and working with type. This would be a good one to work with over here. And also they have one specifically for painting, for those of you who might wish to do a little bit more character work or maybe do vector work for whatever kind of reason and so on. So now for our essentials, we're just going to go to the essentials over here. And what I would strongly recommend you do is if you hit the drop down and reset essentials, this will basically take you back to stock. Now, this is a huge help for anyone who may have been playing around with some of these little windows and these other areas over here, and you're not sure exactly where to get started. This is very helpful. Not to mention, if you have a lot of people using your computer, you'll find this is a big help. So, now some shortcuts that will be helpful for you in this would be the following. Now, if you want to zoom in, you can either select the little zoom tool over here. And by the way, something that's very helpful for this, if any of these tools do have a shortcut, you'll notice that there's a little either number or letter or symbol that's next to the tool itself. So in this case, we see that their zoom tool can also be put in here by Z. Now, if I just click the anywhere over here, I'll just go at small increments, or I can click and drag, and basically I'll zoom in a little bit more. Now, interesting note, if you hold down the Option key, you can zoom out with relative ease. At this point, I'm just kind of clicking like so. But if you end up going too far in or too far out, you can always go to the lower left, which you're seeing over here, fit to screen, and it basically fills it up as much as it can. So whether you need to zoom in or zoom out, the zoom key will help out with this. So, and again, just regular click zooms in, Alt and click will zoom out. Now, to pan around, kind of like what I'm just doing over here, I'm just doing this with a simple space tool. So with the space bar, I should say, it's basically moving around like so. Not too helpful when we're far away like this. This is just more for demonstration purposes. I can zoom in, however, and this is where it becomes a lot more helpful. Now, neat thing about this, besides the zoom and the pan, which is basically what those are called, these options also work in other softwares like Photoshop and InDesign, which we'll be getting into a little bit later. So I'm just going to go fit to my screen, and that's pretty much it. So this is basically where I'm going to stop, as the video tutorials I would like to try and keep a little bit on the short side. But this should at least get you started in terms of getting in your interface, and hopefully you'll find this is going to be helpful for future projects. So I hope that you found this useful, and I hope that you take a look at some of my other tutorials. Thank you.